How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about ADM, or Aeronautical Decision Making. So ADM is probably one of the hardest things to learn and to teach for the instructor, because it's all about making decisions depending on the current situation you're facing in flight or even on the ground before the flight. And it all comes down to how much experience you have. So ADM comes through experience. However, if you were to try to go out there and experience everything so that you could have better ADM, you'd probably get hurt or even killed in the process. So the best way that we can learn ADM is by learning from others. And today I wanted to share with you guys a story from a good friend of mine, Brandon Gardner. He was hired to do this mission of flying from Florida to London, England, Europe, in a Cessna 182. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how this went, and we can go from there.
Everybody, just checking in with y'all. I'm finally in my hotel room after about 10 hours of flying from Florida to Maine today. Had a fuel stop in Norfolk, Virginia. That was pretty cool. I've never been there. Got some gas and went on up north past New York City and New Jersey. Saw the Statue of Liberty. That was pretty cool. I couldn't get a good picture because it was a little cloudy, and then hit some pretty nasty weather pretty much all the way up to Maine. But finally got here, made it safely. Had a phenomenal lobster roll. Obviously that's of utmost importance when on the road. And just gonna relax tonight, do a little flight planning for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I depart here for Goose Bay, Canada, which is in Newfoundland. In the morning I'll get the airplane ready to go and get it fueled. I'll officially export the plane tomorrow morning. It's about 4 hours and 45-minute flight to Goose Bay tomorrow. It's my shortest leg of the trip. Monday morning's the big crossing. That's about 5 hours to Greenland and then another 5 hours to Iceland. So I think since I have a little time tomorrow, I'll show you guys what I packed in my flight bag for this trip, and also the survival equipment that I'm bringing along just in case. So stay tuned for that. I'll post some more pictures tomorrow, and have a good night. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to check in and say hi. It's currently 70 degrees in Bangor. It is absolutely gorgeous, not a cloud in the sky. Definitely don't want to leave. Nice little breeze going on. However, the weather in Canada this morning is 1 degree Celsius and snowing, with clouds about 300 feet above the airport. So that's a no-go for me at the moment. This airplane doesn't have any ice protection, so we can't get in there safely. So on the flip side, I took an Uber to downtown Bangor and had a great bagel. So that's how my morning is going, and we're just going to wait it out because safety is the #1 priority here, and until we can do that, there's nowhere to go.
end of his story, he says, "Last night, after flying 5 hours to Goose Bay, Labrador, I returned to Bangor, Maine. Despite doing all of my homework and having all of the appropriate documentation, Canada denied my entry into the country over a COVID vaccination dispute that even the customs official couldn't understand. I was forced to leave by the public health department. My only option was to fly 5 more hours back to Bangor. Continuing on to Greenland was not an option for 2 reasons. 1, only a maniac would cross the Atlantic at night, and 2, Greenland is closed to aviation on Sundays. My job is to keep people safe. That includes myself. In aviation, we teach a decision-making process that involves analyzing risk. One of the things we examine is external pressures and its effect on our decision-making. I was pressured to leave Canada. In hindsight, I should have told customs to arrest me and stayed on the ground, but I didn't. I felt pressured to leave and I left. It was a bad decision that could have turned into a bad situation. Shortly after takeoff, I encountered weather conditions that exceeded my comfort zone and immediately pushed my skills to the limit. Ice is a very serious thing to airplanes, and I'm comfortable flying in it provided that I'm flying an appropriately equipped airplane. This particular aircraft is not equipped nor certified to fly into known icing conditions, and well, let's just say there was ice. Lots of ice. I found relief at 10,000 feet in between 2 frozen layers of clouds. The fact that I was 118 miles away from a suitable alternate airport at night in poor weather over the pitch black frozen Canadian wilderness with minimal radial contact did not sit well with me. It took me a week to commit to take this trip because every time I get into an airplane, I must calculate the risk. With the most appropriate training, planning, and survival gear, this trip was safe. I agreed to this trip for the experience. I knew it would be challenging, and I'm at the point in my career where I need to be challenged. I didn't do it for the money, for the popularity, or whatever you want to call it. I did it to test my skills. Tonight I realized that continuing along simply isn't worth it. I have nothing to prove to anyone, including myself. I must lead by example for my students to follow, and sometimes that means changing up the plans. I'm really proud of myself. I flew much farther than most people have gone or will go. I decided on the flight back to Bangor that I will not be completing this trip. I'm not afraid of the Atlantic crossing. I'm not afraid of the water. I'm not afraid of the distance. I'm not chickening out. I'm a great pilot and I trust my skills. I trust this airplane. The simple fact is that I must be in 100% control of the decisions on a flight of this magnitude, and tonight proved to me that may not be possible. If I don't have 100% control, it's not safe, and if it's not safe, I'm not doing it. I had every intention of reaching London and was looking forward to seeing some different parts of the world. I'm sorry if I let anybody down. I know many of you were excited to see this. That alone, however, is no reasons for me to press on. Incorporating last night's situation into my risk analysis yields a clear result. The better decision is getting home safely to my wife and my daughter. So today, at 3:56 p.m., I'll be boarding an American Airlines flight and going back to Florida. This airplane will stay in Bangor, and the company I'm contracting for can find another pilot to complete the trip abroad. Thanks to all for your support. I received so many encouraging messages and phone calls. I really didn't think this many people would care, but you proved me wrong. Maybe I'll try this again in the future, but for now, I'm going to find one more lobster roll and head home. Brandon. Final update, I made it back home to Orlando. I am so humbled by all of the texts, messages, and phone calls. I had no idea so many of you were invested in my adventure. Thank you guys for all of the love and support.
Well, last thing I'd want to add to that is, thank you, Brandon, for keeping us in the loop, showing us what can go right and what can go terribly wrong, right? Thankfully, you were safe throughout this whole flight, despite being through some icing. You made it back to your family safe and sound. Thank you for sharing this experience with all of us so that we can all learn from it. And I think the big takeaway here is do not succumb to
external pressures, despite where they're coming from. Friends, family, authorities. If it's not safe, it's not safe. So, what do you guys think of this? Leave a comment below. Give a thumbs up to this video if you liked it. If you want more of this kind of video, let me know. Thanks for watching.